This ain't your grandma's radio station. This is the Bobby Scott Hunter Show. The one radio show you can trust to give it to you raw every time. Oh, yeah.
You guys are listening to Austin KLX Radio. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Terry Grossman. He is a marriage and relationship counselor, specifically for men. He has helped countless couples work things out using his special 8-step program. His new book, Say Yes to Love, drops June 9th. Again, that is Say Yes to Love, and that drops June 9th. Anyways, thanks for being here, Terry.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Of course, man, of course. As someone who's currently in a relationship, I've really been looking forward to this interview. I need all the advice I can get, I guess is what you can say. So, what really got you interested in this business in the first place?
Well, it was ultimately my own marriage, actually. I found out my wife was having an affair about a year into our marriage, and afterwards I dedicated my time to learning more about the inner dynamics of how to keep relationships working.
Wow, okay. So when you found out about the affair, what'd you say?
I told her I was done horsing around, and if you want this to work, you're going to have to stop.
I mean, yeah, you got to put your foot down. I get that. How'd you initially find out that she was being unfaithful?
Well, caught her red-handed with another man in our shower.
Oh my! I can't even imagine that scene. I mean, can you kind of walk me through it? What exactly happened when you guys locked eyes?
Well, first they were pissed because I guess they were close to finishing, and I fucked all that up.
I'm sorry for laughing, man. So what'd you do? I mean, did you whip this guy's ass or what?
No, of course not. This guy was our town's high school quarterback. I mean, he was in real good shape and had about a foot on me. I knew that I couldn't take him.
Shit, man. I mean, I would have grabbed a bat or something, no?
Well, you know what they say, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. Violence begets violence. Our society has enough violence in it as it is. I mean, the last thing I want to do is contribute to that. And I think that's also a very positive message and what I'm trying to say in my book for all the other men out there that may be feeling that toxic masculinity. That's something that we as a culture and society definitely need to work on.
Wow. I can definitely see where you're coming from. I can agree. I do think that some men let their masculinity get to their heads. But to each their own, I guess. So take me through the aftermath of the whole finding out about the affair. Like how did that begin your transformation into essentially a marriage counselor?
Well, at first glance, her behavior could be interpreted as problematic, but after contemplating about it, I never once considered that it was my fault that she was cheating.
I mean, dude, come on. I mean, she's hooking up with another man in your house and your shower, and you're blaming yourself. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, and to kind of give you to paint you a better picture, maybe it was a tension or energy that I created within the household that made her want to be with another man. Or, I mean, looking back, I was slacking at work. I was out of shape. I watched TV all weekend.
I mean, okay. I'm glad that you are able to take accountability for that, but there's still really no excuse for infidelity. Of course, that's my personal opinion.
Well, maybe it's because you're insecure. If you want to demand your significant other not to get with other people like some man-child, then maybe it's time for self-reflection. How about manning up and using that shit as motivation to change yourself for the better? Cheating is not even on her mind anymore.
I mean, you can work on bettering yourself while also having a faithful spouse who supports you through your struggles. That's kind of the whole point of a marriage is you're with each other through the bad and the good. That's part of the vows you take.
People are people, and you obviously don't know very much about human psychology if you can't understand that women are always going to be looking for the alpha male. And if you aren't an alpha, then it's time to become one.
Now hold up a second. You're essentially telling men that if or when they get cheated on, and mind you, we have a lot. Many of our listeners are very impressionable young men. So I want to get this straight. if a man is getting cheated on, you're kind of saying that it's their fault.
In many ways, yes.
Okay, now before you continue, again, I'll reiterate: there's a lot of people listening right now, guys who are just really starting their first relationships.
Well, if you wanted me to sugarcoat the subject, then I guess this is the wrong interview. I'm a straight shooter. I'm an alpha. When a wife strays, it's ultimately because you stop providing something that is needed to keep that said relationship intact. So you're not bringing home what is needed to make her feel satisfied or fulfilled, whether that's because she no longer sees you as a leader, or maybe because you have simply dropped the ball, giving off the energy of a man who, without any drive or ambition. If you want to be a beta male who is a slave to his toxic masculinity, then be my guest and watch how that works out for you.
Dude, look, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, man, but a high schooler is fucking your wife, bro. And when you caught him, you walked away because you're this so-called, pacifist. I mean, you can't, at this point, you can't really claim to be an alpha. And infidelity is not something that becomes excusable just because you may be slacking at work or going through a rough patch.
Well, you say a high schooler's fucking my wife, but I say that another male is giving her what she needs that I wasn't able to provide. And I'm trying to be realistic and put things into perspective. Another problem I see all the time is men thinking they own their wives.
Okay, own? Can you elaborate? What do you mean by own?
Well, a lot of men today, especially ones who are young or newly married, are desperately insecure. I'll give you one quick example. I have this buddy at work who has been bitching and moaning nonstop about how his fiancée has recently told him that she's not going to take his last name.
I mean, that's kind of a big deal, no?
Really? How insecure do you have to be? So in order for this marriage to be official, you need to basically legally own this woman? That doesn't make any sense to me. You want to force this woman you desperately claim to love to be bound by your last name? Like I've been saying, as a man and as men, most of our problems stem from ego and insecurity.
Okay, well, I'm following you. And it looks like we got a caller on the line. Zach from San Marcos, you're on the air.
Hey, yeah, Terry. So I've been reading and studying a lot about your techniques lately because I haven't been able to get a clear answer on what to do when my wife becomes confrontational with me in front of my parents and my friends. I want to stay in control of the situation, not lash out and talk back. She tells our kids that I'm a beta. I tolerate it because it's the right thing to do, but I'm still really embarrassed. Any advice?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the question, Zach. My advice would be to stand down. Whatever you do, stand down, let her say her piece, and wait for the whole thing to run its course. For countless decades now, and I've said this before, that men in our society have been taught that it's cool or admirable or even inspirational in some cases to speak out, and to speak up, and to stand up and fight back. So what I'm trying to say is that those emotions that you feel festering when she speaks badly about you to somebody that you know is just an energy from an undiscovered insecurity. It's something that you have and that a lot of men aren't even aware of.
All right, thanks for calling in, Zach. I hope you got the advice you were looking for, sir. Okay, yet another caller. The lines are hot tonight. Sean, you're on the air, buddy. What's up?
Hey, Bobby, my man. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely, man. We're glad to have you.
Hey, I'm just hoping that not everyone out there is as confused as me listening to this guy, Terry, and I don't want to come off too aggressive at first, so I'm going to let him speak for himself if that's okay. Can I ask him a question?
Absolutely. Here he is.
Hey, Terry, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I just wanted to ask you something specific. What do you mean by if your woman is sort of calling you out in front of friends and degrading you for X, Y, and Z, including your salary, and you're supposed to sit there and let her go through a process? Can you explain to me how that's not the opposite of growing balls?
So you're giving me a perfect example of how the media and society in general depicts as a male or as a man. I say instead of be a PIMP, be a SIMP. And I think that you're a bad role model to the young men out there.
Sean, what do you think about that, man? He's calling you a bad role model.
That's amazing, because like I said, I was trying to go easy from the get, but like this doormat's got a mouth on it, huh? Like he's literally out here advocating being a simp. I mean, I guess that's the new cool, but Bobby, I didn't expect to hear this fucking hogwash on your channel. I'm an avid listener, and the fucking, what is it, the the rule of love, and I don't even
Say
know.
Yes to Love, dropping June 9th.
Yeah, what are we doing here, Bobby? Please help me out. I mean, are we just being more inclusive for the hell of it?
If I got to be completely candid with you, man, it was not my choice. Just came from way up top. We've been forced to do this whole diversity bullshit, and basically the top brass wants us to appeal to a larger demographic of men and have a broader view of masculinity and relationships and marriage. He would not be a guest if this were 2019 and before. But again, the times are changing, and at the same, with all that said, I do think he brings a couple views to the table that aren't too terrible. Again, I appreciate your loyalty to the show. I hope we don't lose you, but that's kind of where we're at right now.
So are you telling me as a listener that I should buy this book of his?
Well, it depends. Hey, Terry, how much is this book going for?
$29.99.
That's a pretty pricey book, man. $30. I mean, that's shit. That's got to contain some real great shit. And this is a supposedly a secret 8-step program to making relationships work. So, I mean, Sean, will you be buying or what?
I pump shit for a living, so if you think I'm going out there pumping shit for an hour and a half to buy this Jackoff's book, you got another thing coming. I mean, no.
Okay. Well, I again, man, I respect you being so candid about it, not really holding back. But yeah, like I said, we're just trying to get a broader and more diverse group of men on the show. But Sean, we really appreciate you calling in, man.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks for the input, and
Still love you, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. I love you too. Woo! And I hope you will be listening and tuned in tomorrow night, same time.
You've been listening to The Bobby Scott Hunter Show. Found here only at Austin KLX.